Hi, this is Comicbook Crossfire, and we don't even get a countdown. You are watching Comicbook Crossfire, the podcast that discusses the issues, and it's the rarest of rare occasions we're actually doing a podcast in the same room.
I can do this.
And I can do this. and guess what? We're going to talk about Adventure Time, if you haven't figured it out.
So come on, tell your friends.
I'm going to play we're talking and I'm being spontaneous and it's not very good. Oh, look at that! There's a 15-minute marker down there. Does that mean we can only make 15-minute movies?
We'll find out if this talk is cut short.
This could stink.
Google recently changed how Hangout works,
and so things haven't worked the way we were hoping for.
Yeah.
So this is really impromptu. Okay, well, if we're going to talk Adventure Time, Tracy and I have both been fans of this show, and I don't think I realized how much a fan Tracy was until kind of we were just emailing back and forth one day, and then it was like, oh, I didn't realize you were so much into it too. And,
yeah.
And I hadn't gotten the box set until I've only had the box set maybe for 2 months. I had been piecing it together. Never watched a live episode. Have you watched it?
I got into it late, but I'd seen a handful of episodes. My brother and his girlfriend and roommate, and they're all super into it. And so anytime I'd go over to his place, they'd play a bunch of episodes, usually just a bunch in a row. And so I'd see them, but never in order, and just kind of little bits. But so it wasn't until the first season DVD came out that I actually got to get in from the start of it. And but yeah, just super got into it, and been reading the comics and trying to watch all the episodes chronologically if I can.
Well, we'll first start off with the two main characters, Finn and Jake. I think Finn's a very endearing character to you and I, especially, because I think we like the heroic. And heroic is a pretty general term when you talk about comic books and superheroes and that type of sort, but I think Finn really is the epitome of what a hero is. I've even heard the word used in the show, a cavalier. I think he's a very cavalier.
Yeah.
There's another word too. Damn, I can't think of. If Monty were here, a D&D reference. A code of he goes by a certain code, and if he breaks that code, especially, I don't think it was in season 1, but where he was in the thieves' den. Is that season 1?
Yeah. Where
he could not become a thief because he would break his own personal code.
Yeah.
And cavalier's not the quite right word. Anyway, he's just. He is such a straight and narrow, but even in his attitude towards people and friends, where he puts everybody else first.
Well, that's the only thing that Finn really does is he helps people. It's like an occupation to him. He's just their resident hero, and he and Jake could be out doing something just fun and crazy, but if he hears someone off in the distance who's in trouble or is hurt or is sad or crying, even just stuff that's not mortal danger, but oh, somebody sounds sad, I better go and check and see if I can do something to help them. He's just constantly helping people, and I think that's a really awesome trait. Even just in a really crazy, ridiculous show.
Yeah, I don't want to jump all over the place with our subject matter that's the thing is, and yet his best friend, his brother of sorts, which we can probably get into later when we talk origins, but that is kind of not, he's not a bad guy, but he's kind of he's not the straight and narrow that Finn is. No,
he's more driven by fun and laziness, but he's also very supportive. And
loyal to Finn.
Yeah, so even if he might kind of roll his eyes at Finn's level of dedication, he'll always support him. Like he'll just kind of shrug it off and like, well, all right, let's do this. And like, so he has his own sense of loyalty is super strong, which is what makes Finn, or what makes Jake more endearing than just your regular
sidekick,
lazy party, sidekick, goofball character.
I'm not sure where you want to go next, but do you have a favorite character episode?
A character episode?
Where, I mean, not when I say character, I mean like it shows the character of Finn and Jake. I know we've talked about the episode where they make the son of Finn.
Nepter?
Nepter.
Yeah. That's not so much a reflection of Finn. It just cracks me up.
It's a fun episode.
I think the first one is definitely the Boom Boom Mountain episode.
Oh yeah.
Is the one that really, for me, drives home
who
Finn is, where he runs into this little village that's just full of people and creatures and things all having problems, and they're all in conflict with each other. But he's so driven to help people that he
fixes one problem, which leads to another problem that he has to fix, and ultimately fixes everybody's problem.
Yeah, well, the message that they try to get across at first, or like what Jake tries to press, is like, well, you can't fix everything and you can't help everyone, which is a fine and true to life message, but that's not good enough for Finn. Finn, he stops and thinks about, I could just...
Good enough is good enough.
Good enough is good enough, go home, but it isn't, and he's just that driven that, no, I will find a way, and he does. He finds a bunch of ridiculous ways of making sure that every single person in that village is happy before he leaves, and I think
including
that's pretty awesome.
Crying Mountain, which started the whole thing.
Yes, yeah.
And that is the first time that I remember seeing some origin story about Finn, but I have seen some since.
Mm-hmm.
But that really is a pretty good, especially how he goes back to the. I forgot about the whole. Jake's telling everybody that he cries when he poops.
Yeah,
he still cries when he poops. Thanks for being cool about it, guys.
When he goes boom boom, yeah.
And then his father probably, you don't want a boom boom baby.
I don't want a boom boom baby.
Anyway, Freak City is, I think, another good character where everybody's kind of given up and just accepted that they've been beaten by the magician or whatever that tricked them into becoming shapes or body parts.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, including Jake, is like, hey, this is the life. You're just going to be lazy and do nothing the rest of your life. And Finn, being turned into a giant foot, still finds a way to turn it into an advantage.
Yeah.
But, I guess there are quite a few. The Business Time, is that? Which one is that? The Frozen...
The Frozen Businessmen?
Was my favorite line. They look like well-dressed pickles. City of Thieves is a good character, but I guess City of Thieves is the one time I think he kind of fails a little.
Yeah.
And goes dark. I do find it kind of odd that the origin of Finn seems like he was some... Well, okay, I've had this discussion with Crystal a few times. It feels like it's a post-apocalyptic world. I mean, even if you look at the intro, you're seeing unexploded bombs.
Yeah.
You're seeing zombified hands coming out of the ground.
Yeah, well, anytime they go underground or even into the ocean, like the episode where Finn's afraid of going in the ocean
cars
and they sink. Yeah, well, there's skyscrapers at the bottom of the ocean. There's skyscrapers and abandoned cars and skeletons and and if you that was something that really fascinated me.
The arena looks like it was like an abandoned arena with trees growing because vegetation is taken over, and
well, and just the fact that Finn is one of, if not the only remaining human.
Now, I found that a very, like, I didn't put that together right away,
mm-hmm.
but I would even do slow-mo on the intro.
Yeah.
And there is a lot in that first initial scene that's like, okay, this is...
You see, tanks, abandoned tanks, and
like there was a giant war and, well, it mutated everybody into candy or animals or...
That was one of the things that really interested me at first when I heard about that, like that there was this subtext or this hinted, just backstory. Even it's a fun, silly, goofy
kid show,
but there's this sort of
really
hidden
eerie
story there.
Understory. What was I going to say? The arena episode was, I think, the first time I kind of put two and two together with that, because I was like, that looks like it's been an abandoned arena,
mm-hmm.
and with the vegetation growing, made me think of that. And then I remember seeing, well, that was bombs in the intro. And
mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite episode? I mean, I know that we.
I do still love the Nepter episode.
His heroes are pretty good.
Yes, the Nepter episode just cracks me up so much with just his line of being built so poorly, just spinning around in circles.
Especially because even though he's got a drawn face on, his face isn't the same.
Yeah.
And
does it please you to watch me struggle, Master?
There's another line in that episode that I keep forgetting, but it's not even the way the line. It's the way the line's delivered that's the funniest. It's when Nepter gets hit by lightning, and Finn screams, "No!" Oh wait, that's